Going on, everyone? John Matrix here. Hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you're at and whenever you're watching this. Today we're going to be jumping back into the SCP universe with the Exploring series as our guide as we check out Dr. Bright. Dr. Bright's been something that's been popped up in a couple of videos that I've already done, but they haven't really gotten too much into who or what Dr. Bright is. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing who or what Dr. Bright is. Links will be down below in the description to the Exploring series channel and to the original video here without my commentary and reaction. So if you would please do me a favor and click those links. If you enjoyed this video of the Exploring series, please give it a like and check out the content on his channel. And if you enjoy his content, please do me a favor of giving him a sub. He's definitely a great content creator, makes a lot of great stuff for the SCP universe as well as others. Please do me a favor and check out those links. We're doing this reaction live for my YouTube members. If you would like to come join us, would love to have you guys in here and discuss your thoughts and input as we go on and do these reactions live. There is a join button down below the video, as well as a link in the description to my YouTube memberships. Check it out if you would like to and see what benefits the tiers offer and see if any of those have any interest for you. If you decide you want to take your monetization or your support to the next level and support me monetarily. Regardless, I just appreciate you guys coming in here and hanging out and watching the videos. It means a lot. And yeah, just thanks for taking the time out of your day to do so. But with all that said, shameless plugs done. Gonna end the video here. So again, this is Dr. Bright by the Exploring series.
Dr. Bright. Throughout this series, we've discussed monsters, aliens, phenomena, apocalyptic scenarios, and multiple shadowy organizations. But we haven't really talked about the specific people that work for those organizations.
True.
Most of the material you read about a group such as the SCP Foundation contains scores of faceless doctors, agents, and D-class personnel. But there are sometimes notable individuals. What would cause someone to work and continue working for an organization like the SCP Foundation?
It is true, man. Like, it would be pretty rough. Like, you would have to be pretty dedicated and pretty knowledgeable to work in an organization like this, knowing all the various things of the universe and the realities of all of these world potentially ending SCPs and events that could happen or have happened. You know what I mean? Like, it would really kind of take a toll on you after a while. And it almost would be like an ignorance is bliss kind of situation where it's just like, I don't want to know. Just give me some amnestics, you know, and let me retire somewhere.
What would that kind of work do to their psyche? This video will look at perhaps the most famous individual working for the Foundation, Dr. Jack.
Right, and like, that's the other thing too. Like, you're responsible for so much, and if something goes wrong, like, not only is it potentially your life that probably is going to be terminated, but again, potentially it could lead to a world-altering or ending event. Like, what if you're doing some kind of research project on 682 and some kind of breach happens and now it gets out and just decides to destroy everything? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, that's on you at that point, you know? Foundation went from rather sweep troublesome doctor under the rug and admit they messed up. Of course. Well, they're also a privately funded organization too, right? So I mean, like, stuff happens and they get responsible for it, that funding could dry up and then they can't do anything anymore. So
this video will look at perhaps the most famous individual working for the Foundation, Dr. Jack Bright, as well as other members of his family involved with the group.
Got a whole family tree here, huh?
Adam and Evelyn were working for the SCP Foundation sometime during the 1800s. Adam as a junior researcher, and Evelyn as a medical assistant. Although Adam was apparently one of the founding members of the Foundation.
Oh, really?
If you follow this canon. Together, they had 5 children.
That is something also I like about the SCP universe, is there's technically like multiple canons, and all of them technically are correct. Because it could be a multiversal, multi-dimensional thing. Like, you know, this family, the Bright family could have been some of the founding members of the SCP, you know, Foundation in this universe, but maybe not in this one. I don't know. I like that stuff. It allows for creativity in various things.
Canon. Together, they had 5 children. Mikkel, Jack, TJ, Claire, and Sarah. Sarah was stillborn, and Adam, desperate to bring her back to life, utilized several SCPs.
Interesting.
One of these was SCP-590.
Is Adam Driver now? Is this Kylo Ren? Is that what we're getting into?
TJ Bright, one of his sons. TJ was born with the incredible gift of being able to heal any injury or ailment, both physical and mental, that an individual might have, simply by touching them. The downside of this ability is that TJ receives the injury or ailment upon himself, experiencing all of the pain, after effects, and mental aberrations that the subject was experiencing. When he was young, he could choose to consciously activate this ability, but after puberty, it became an involuntary effect.
Interesting.
In conjunction with other SCPs, Adam Bright used TJ's ability to bring his daughter back to life,
and killed
but
himself.
She was taken into Foundation custody immediately afterwards, and soon was designated SCP-321. TJ was also taken into Foundation custody because of this.
Yeah, I mean, if he takes on, like, wouldn't that kill him, right? If someone died, and then he uses his healing powers to heal them, and he takes on their condition, that condition would be death, right? So wouldn't he die? I would assume, if that is the case, that they resurrected him somehow with whatever the various methods they have. But still.
TJ was also taken into Foundation custody because of this, becoming SCP-590, and by this point, Mikkel was already working for them. SCP-321 was found to be capable of recuperating from any injury at 5 times the normal rate of a human, believed to be caused by an overabundant production of stem cells.
Interesting.
Additionally, 321 has continually aged and grown since her rebirth, and is currently 3.1 meters tall and weighs approximately 110 kilograms. She shows no signs of stopping growth, and at a certain point, her heart was reaching the limits of its circulation capabilities. An artificial heart was created and implanted into 321's body, allowing her continued growth and existence. Despite her age being at least over 100 at this point, her intellectual capabilities are similar to that of an infant, taking months to learn a simple task.
So her body is continuously growing, kind of almost like she has that gigantism disease, but her brain never healed and is still stuck at the infancy period, I guess.
And she's unable to speak more than nonsensical noises. After being taken into Foundation custody, her father, junior researcher Adam Bright, requested that she be removed from SCP status, but he was denied. Later, Personnel Director Adam Bright again requested she be removed from SCP status, and it was again denied. Much later, Site Director Adam Bright suggested that they can learn nothing more from SCP-321, and that her SCP designation be removed, but again he was denied. Finally, 05-12, Adam Bright, made a note that SCP-321 is to be decommissioned and returned to her family immediately, but he was shut down for a final time. He was told that she was not now, nor has ever been, his daughter, and that if he attempted this again, the Council would remove him.
Interesting.
In reaction to this, Adam Bright resigned from the O5 Council, an unprecedented action as it's typically a lifetime position. By this point, Mikkel Bright was also on the O5 Council, and Jack had moved up in ranks as well. At some point,
Wouldn't that almost kind of be a conflict of interest, having 2 family members on the O5 Council? Because, I mean, that could potentially give them a bit of unprecedented power in swaying certain things, certain ways, certain decisions, you know what I mean? But what do I know?
And Jack had moved up in ranks as well. At some point, SCP-590, TJ, had accumulated enough injuries to leave him bedridden and on life support, unable to breathe on his own. A single dose of SCP-500 brought him back to full health, however, and his abilities are used on Foundation personnel of researchers and above, as an alternative to utilizing SCP-500. By the insistence of Jack, TJ was used to cure several cases of mental retardation, reducing him to the mental level of a 3-year-old. Jack likely did this to mentally protect his brother from understanding what the Foundation was doing to him. TJ now spends most of his time watching children's television shows and coloring, although he does have his moments of surprising lucidity. Which brings us to Jack Bright himself, who followed in his parents' and brother's footsteps, and also joined the SCP Foundation. Claire, meanwhile, who possesses the ability to see into the future, would go on to join the Serpent's Hand, a counter-organization to the SCP Foundation.
Interesting.
Focused on spreading awareness of the paranormal.
Bro, this is kind of a fucked up family, right? You know, they got a daughter who died and was brought back by their other son. Both of them have mental issues now and are basically kids. The father was a founding member and is on the O5 Council. Dr. Bright himself is on the O5 Council, but retired or resigned from it because they wouldn't allow him to have his daughter back. And now his sister is in a counter organization who can see the future, probably due to like family member issues. Like, Jesus. Should be like an SCP soap opera here, man.
Normal counter organization to the SCP Foundation.
That is pretty
focused
dope.
On spreading awareness of the paranormal. Jack joined after his brother TJ went into Foundation custody and became a junior researcher of good standing. He was eventually assigned to researching SCP-963, a white gold amulet containing a ruby surrounded by 13 diamonds.
I've done a video on this, haven't I? Or has this been mentioned in something else? This sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it does.
963 was discovered in the apartment of an individual who apparently committed suicide, surrounded by supernaturally related books, and was brought into the Foundation since it was found to be incapable of being damaged. Later that year, SCP-076, Abel, breached containment, leading to a large number of casualties. Dr. Bright happened to be walking past 076's containment unit at the time, transporting the amulet by hand, and was...
I think that's what it is. I think that's what this references to. I think doing the Abel and Cain video is when Dr. Bright was brought up and this SCP was brought up. I think that's what I'm remembering.
Killed by Abel. Dr. Bright happened to be walking past 076's containment unit at the time, transporting the amulet by hand, and was killed by Abel. A few days later, a D-class assigned to clean up the rubble picked up 963. A noticeable change went over the D-class, who began referring to himself as Jack Bright. Upon removal of the amulet from his possession, all of his higher brain functions ceased until the amulet was returned. Apparently, the individual that created the amulet hoped to gain immortality by binding his soul to the amulet.
It's literally phylactery from D&D. It's literally a phylactery. This is where the lich will bind their soul to an item so that they hide the item away and they can't actually die unless they broke the item. Oldest D&D trick in the book.
So that he could possess to gain immortality by binding his soul to the amulet so that he could possess whomever touched it. His ritual failed, however, due to the simple fact that he killed himself to initiate it, rather than being killed by some other force. Jack Bright activated the amulet correctly when he was killed while holding onto it, binding his soul to it. When the D-class picked it up, it overwrote his mind with the mind of Dr. Bright, including all of his memories. This allows Dr. Bright to be functionally immortal, as long as someone eventually touches the amulet, whether it be a human, or some other creature or animal. Since the amulet is invulnerable to damage, the only way to prevent this would be to keep the amulet locked away. But since Jack Bright is a loyal member of the Foundation, he's allowed to continue to operate. However, there is a side effect of 963. If a subject maintains contact with the amulet for 30 days, their consciousness becomes a duplicate of Dr. Bright's, and removal of the amulet does nothing. Since this would allow Dr. Bright to make potentially unlimited copies of his mind, sanctions were put into place to prevent this. Although so far, Dr. Bright has not attempted to break this rule. So far, Dr. Bright has found no way to release himself from 963.
Yeah, it's got to be a weird existence, right? Like, what is your existence like when you're not inhabiting a body, right? Like, what do you see, experience in it? Is it like, basically, are you asleep? Like, are you like in a sleep dream state where you just experience, I guess, nothingness? And then when someone picks it up, you're like, wake up and you're in their body? Or are you in some kind of, I guess, non-corporeal other dimensional space and you're just waiting for someone to pick you up? And like, it could feel like millennia could pass by in between, you know, sessions of being in someone's body. You know what I mean? Like, that would be weird. That'd be very weird. Especially since earlier on finding Brad at the vessel room, he's wiping someone. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's just another interesting food for thought kind of scenario. Like, what is existence life like that? Yeah. Yeah, I get that it doesn't activate until like he has a body, but like, is he technically still alive inside of the amulet? You know what I mean? Like, does he experience existence in the amulet, or is he just essentially asleep in the amulet until he has a body? Like, it could just be that he's still alive and experiencing the passage of time like someone normally would be, but it's just that he's not able to attach himself to a body until someone physically touches it. You know what I mean? So it's like, does he exist, or is he in like a state of sleep, unconsciousness, etc., until he gets a hold of a body? Or is he just like sitting there twiddling his thumbs, not able to do anything until someone actually touches it? You know what I mean?
So far, Dr. Bright has found no way to release himself from 963, not for lack of trying. On the flip side, the Foundation actually spent some time trying to recreate 963, eventually resulting in 963-2.
I'm sure plenty of the O5 Council members would want that as a backup, and just in case.
All information on 963-2 has been expunged, so it's unclear exactly what it does, but it's likely not good. Dr. Bright has so far jumped between countless bodies, including male and female humans.
That's also got to be weird. Like, if you're a guy and then you get jumped into a woman's body, that's got to be a little weird. Or an adult and somehow you jump into a kid's body, like, that's got to be a little weird.
Animals and SCPs.
And an animal.
Well, Dr. Bright's loyalty and intellect, combined with his immortality, have certainly been a benefit to the Foundation. It's also taken its toll on Bright's psyche.
I'm sure.
A tale that demonstrates some of the consequences of 963 is the executions of Dr. Bright, although keep it in mind it does take place in the Broken Masquerade canon, where information about anomalies is public.
Interesting.
In it, Bright is part of a team operating in the Middle East, where they are suddenly captured by armed terrorists. They possess knowledge of Bright in 963, and proceeded to kill the team one by one. However, they started with Bright, and then put the amulet on another member of the team, so that they were killing Bright each time.
Right.
The rest of the team waited in horror as their associated minds were wiped and they were killed. The tale gives us a sense of how much Bright resents his condition, and in turn grows to hate himself.
I mean, yeah, it would suck.
A consistent theme across a number of tales is Bright's deep-seated desire for release from 963, and his inability to do so. The tale Code Brown describes a Bright family reunion that occurs because of Claire's death while working for the Serpent's Hand. We see that the Bright family is large, including children, grandchildren, cousins, and so on. Practically none of them seem to get along very well. Mikkel seems to have fathered a large number of children in his younger days, now collectively known as the Unnumbered Brood.
Interesting.
Evelyn, Jack's mother, also makes an appearance, and is said to sometimes be referred to as the Mother of Monsters, as she apparently spends her time creating creatures.
Echidna.
It's clear that the Bright family is not a typical one, each with their gifts and quirks.
I mean, when you work for a place like the SCP Foundation, and like the whole family is involved, it's not going to be a normal family. I'm just saying.
Dr. Bright has developed a reputation over the years of being eccentric, to say the least, but it's fair to say that he hasn't had the most normal of lives.
Oh shit.
Between the tragedies associated with his family and his own unfortunate situation, Jack has suffered more than any one person should. He ultimately believes in the Foundation's methods and goals, despite what they've done to him and his family, and continues to work for them, becoming the site director of a number of sites. He so far has not reached the rank of O5, perhaps due to his mental state, or perhaps because the Council would rather not have what is technically an SCP sitting amongst them.
Yeah.
I hope that this video has provided some greater degree of insight into the backstory of Dr. Bright.
I mean, honestly, it wouldn't surprise... It kind of surprises me more, honestly, that there aren't SCPs on the O5 Council. You would almost kind of think that, like, maybe to some degree you would want some SCPs, maybe not fully, but at least a couple of them, or people that are SCPs or whatever, just so they can understand SCPs a little. I don't know. But like, yeah, having a more understanding of what it is to be an SCP, and then could give them, I don't know, I guess more insight into why they would need to be, contained, etc., etc. But anyway. Superhero credible, the O5s are basically, I mean, right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's surprising to me that they're not. And I mean, they definitely use a lot of SCPs and information they've gained from SCPs to their own selfish benefits. They are effectively immortal while they're on the O5 Council, right? So, like, yeah.
Who is certainly not a normal member of the Foundation, but is nonetheless an integral part of it.
We get a quote? We get a quote. Okay. I'm afraid, Clef said, of what will imply when the most powerful and influential member of the Foundation is an SCP himself. I worry that, not now, not 100 years from now, but someday you will have lived so long and become so strange that you are no longer human. And by then, you may be too powerful to stop. So that threat must be nipped in the bud. I mean, there it is right there. He becomes the Emperor. He's lived for so long and accumulated so much knowledge that he has become the Emperor, dude. Again, back to 40K. We've solved the mystery. It's been cracked. We know the origin and identity of the Emperor. What if I never become a threat? You will, I said firmly. No one who lives as long as you can stay human. The best and the wisest man whom I have ever known. And I mean, yeah, that's definitely part of what being human is that, you know, you live a certain amount of time and then you die. And like what would existence be like if you lived for over 1,000 years or 10,000 years or 100,000 years? How much meaning would life have, you know, at that kind of point? There's something to be said for only living as long as we live. You know what I mean? So that's layers coming from Clef, an extremely unstable and anomalous person himself. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm sure there's a ton of hypocrisy with a lot of members of the O5 Council, where they have utilized and used, you know, a lot of the SCP anomalies for their own gain, even though they are doing good things for the world and protecting the average person in the world and trying to keep the paranormal a secret. They are still using things for their own advantage. And again, they are kind of like effectively immortal and can basically do whatever they want, I guess, within the confines of their, for lack of a better term, to use a Star Trek term, like within their prime directives, I guess, whatever those might be. You know, I really don't know what the overall kind of like directives of the O5 Council are and what really they're trying to accomplish, other than, you know, making sure that these SCPs aren't out there in the wild and causing harm to humanity, essentially. Which seems like it's a fight a fight against inevitability, as it seems like no matter what happens, there's always these like world-ending events that eventually take place, and then the universe gets reset, kind of a situation. So it all depends on the canon too. The council can be heroes or antagonists of any given story, and I'm sure that honestly the truth probably is somewhere in the middle of that. I'm sure there's definitely times where they are the heroes and they are doing things for the betterment of humanity and whatever, but then I'm sure there are certain times where they're doing things for their own selfish benefit in order to maintain the power that the SCP, you know, Foundation has to control things in certain ways and dictate how certain things happen in the world politically. So, I mean, I'm sure there is, you know, again, a middle ground where that is true on both fronts. So, but interesting SCP, you know, going into, I guess, the Bright family. It seems like there is a long history family tree of being attached to the SCP Foundation, and, you know, some being on the O5 Council, others having other kinds of experiments and things going on. You know, the mother, I guess, works on creating creatures of some sort. Like, I guess that's somehow sanctioned in some way. His sister is a part of some other kind of organization that is away from the SCP Foundation. She's the rebel in the family, you know. She's the goth girl that's gone off and decided to, you know, rebel against the family line and do her own thing and tries to, you know, make the knowledge public instead of helping hide it. And then he's trapped in an SCP himself, effectively being immortal and passing through body to body, you know, I guess. I don't know. Very strange. Very strange. But I guess potentially one day maybe he could find a way out of it where he could, you know, you would think that if there's a way to transfer your soul into something, there's got to be a way for you to transfer your soul out, right? So who knows? But that again was the Exploring the SCP Foundation, Dr. Bright by the Exploring series. Links will be down below in the description to the Exploring series channel and to the original video here without my commentary and reaction. If you enjoyed this video, go over there and give the Exploring series video a like, and check out his content. He makes a lot of great content for the SCP universe as well as others, and give the man a sub if you enjoy his stuff. He definitely deserves it. We're doing this reaction live from our YouTube members. As you can see, if you'd like to join in the discussions that we have as we do these live reactions, we'd love to have you guys in here and to give your input. There's a join button down below the video, as well as a link in the description to the membership benefit tiers. You know, check it out, see if there's anything in there that interests you if you'd like to join and take your support for me to the next level. Regardless, thank you very much for just coming in here and taking the time out of your busy day to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed my commentary and reaction to this video, do consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and helps the channel grow. Greatly appreciate it. And yeah, thank you very much. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day whenever you're watching this. See you guys in the next one.